Hello children, myself Sangeeta Acharya. Today I'll guide you with the first chapter of our social science, that is Rise of British Rule in India. The title itself gives you a clear content of the chapter. Without wasting time, let us start with the explanation of the chapter. So, the first thing that we all know is that India has been very prosperous since its ancient period. India had its top position due to its economic, cultural and religious heritage. Now, children, economic means financial condition. So, it is clearly understood that India was very good or it was very stable with context to economic, cultural and religious heritage. And India was also known as Sone ki Chidiya, that is golden bird. So people from different nations of the world came to India to trade. There was a lot of demand for the Indian spices, muslin, silk cloth, indigo, etc. Okay, so there was a lot of demand for these things in the European countries. Spices, you all know very well children, that spices means chili powder, turmeric powder, coriander powder, the garam masalas that we use, they are spices. Muslin, that is cotton fabrics, and silk cloth, you know. Indigo, it's a chemical that is used to color any cloth. It is even known as dye, D-Y-E, dye. Okay. So, there was a lot of demand for these things. So, trading between India and Europe was done through land route and sea route. And at the center of both the routes was Istanbul, Constantinople in Turkey. So, the center place, that is from land route and sea route, the center place at its in between that route was Istanbul. That time it was known as Constantinople, that is in Turkey. So for a long time, this trading was continuously going on between India and Europe. But once it so happened that the Turkish Muslims, they had defeated Constantinople and it was now in their hand. That was in the year 1453 AD. So the sea route through Constantinople was closed for the Europeans. So they couldn't travel in that route then onwards. Since they could not do without the spices, the Europeans felt compelled to discover a new sea route. So they were not able to do without spices. So they had to find a new sea route to reach India. So an era of geographical discoveries began from then on. Now let us do discovery of sea route to India. Next topic that we have is discovery of sea route to India. This is in short, I have just made a list. I'll just explain you each one. So totally 3 of them were there. First, let us see the introduction part. Portuguese King Prince Henry gave inspiration, encouragement and economic help to some brave people to discover a new sea route. So in this list, first one was Bartholomew Dias. Bartholomew Dias discovered the Cape of Good Hope. This was the sea route. Next, with the financial help from the King of Spain, Christopher Columbus discovered a new sea route. He stopped at an island. Presently, it is known as West Indies, which is situated in the Atlantic Ocean. Columbus had believed throughout his life that he had discovered a new sea route, but actually it was a new land. So Christopher Columbus had discovered land route and that land is presently known as America. I'll just give you a few more instructions, then you will come to know. As this was made clear by Amerigo Vespucci, this new land was named as America. So Christopher Columbus, throughout his life, he thought that he has found out new sea route, but it was not a sea route, it was land route, and that place is America. The person who had found was Amerigo Vespucci. So the place is named after him as America. At last, Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese sailor, discovered the sea route in the year 1498 to India. So he was the person who had found a sea route to India. So after reaching to Calcutta, that is in Kerala, this place is in Kerala, in the western coast of India, he was welcomed by the King Zamorin and allowed to carry business over there. This opened doors for the Europeans to come to India and trade and prosper. Okay, next topic that we have is arrival of Europeans to India. The first to arrive were the Portuguese, as we discussed right now. Vasco da Gama was the first one who had discovered sea route, and they were the first one to arrive in India for trade after the discovery of sea route to India. Within 100 years, the Portuguese had established control over many places like Diu, Daman, Goa, Cochin and Malacca. So, within 100 years, they had got a very good control over these places, that is Diu, Daman and Goa, Cochin and Malacca. So, these places were captured by the Portuguese. Dutch from Netherlands, or you can say Holland. Holland was known that time and presently it is known as Netherlands. And the Danish from Denmark arrived in India for trading by following Portuguese footprint. So it is said that they got inspired, or you can say Dutch or people from Netherlands and Denmark, they got inspired by Portuguese and they also followed after Portuguese to India and started trade over here. Okay children, now it's very important, I would like to make it clear to you is that as we say, for example, they are Gujaratis or we are Gujaratis because they speak Gujarati and belonging to Gujarat, and same way Danish and Dutch are the language. So these two, that is Dutch and Danish, came after Portuguese. Okay, that is not any name of place, it is name of the language. Then came the English traders and they established the East India Company to trade with India. Queen Elizabeth of England in the year 1600 AD gave permission to trade with Eastern countries. So, first came the Portuguese, secondly came the Dutch and the Danish, and thirdly came the English traders. And when Queen Elizabeth of England was appointed that time, that is in 1600, she had given permission to trade in India. Their first ship had arrived in Surat under the leadership of Captain William Hawkins. So, the first ship that had arrived, in that leadership was taken up by Captain William Hawkins. But because of Portuguese control, they were not allowed to trade. So, because Portuguese had kept their strong imprint, so they were not allowed to trade. Later, the East India Company got permission to trade from the Mughal Emperor Jahangir. So, I'll just tell you again it in short, that English traders had come and they had established their East India Company to trade over here. That time, Queen Elizabeth of England had given permission to trade in the eastern countries. But there was, and their first ship had arrived in Surat. But the Portuguese wanted to keep a control, so they didn't allow to trade. But later on, Mughal Emperor Jahangir gave the permission. So, first trade center was in Surat, that is in 1613. Okay, so it was in 1613 AD, first trade center. Initially, the company established its trade centers in Surat, Bharuch and Ahmedabad. over here, the company felt danger to its existence because of the strong presence of the Marathas. So the company, that is East India Company, they felt little insecure because there were more of Marathas. So towards the south and east directions, they set up their centers in Machilipatnam, that is in Andhra Pradesh, St. George, that is in Chennai, and Fort William, that is in Kolkata, and Mumbai became their headquarters in 1687. So when this East India Company got permission from Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan, they established their trade center in Surat, that is in 1613 AD. So in the beginning, they had established their trade centers in 3 places, that is Surat, Bharuch and Ahmedabad. Then these places the company felt little insecure because of the Marathas. So they shifted towards south and east direction, and they had set up their centers in Machilipatnam, Chennai, Kolkata, and their headquarters in Mumbai, that is in 1687 AD. Then in the 18th century, the English and the French were constantly busy establishing their rule in the entire world and conquering more territories. So both were busy establishing their own rule and they wanted to conquer each and every territory. Conquer means to win. Territory means places. Between 1746 and 1763, there were 3 Mysore wars between the French East India Company and the British East India Company in India, which the French East India Company lost. So there were 3 wars, Mysore wars, between the French East India Company and British East India Company. In this war, French East India Company lost, thus making easy the expansion of the British East India Company. So it was very easy for the East India Company to expand. Thus, at the end of this battle for power, the Portuguese were with Diu, Daman, Goa, while French had their trade centers at Chandranagar, Mahe, Karaikal and Pondicherry, while the Dutch had to leave forever. So in this fight for gaining more and more power, the Portuguese were left with Diu, Daman and Goa, whereas French had its center at Chandranagar, Mahe, Karaikal and Pondicherry. So it was having in the 4 places, while Dutch had to leave forever. It couldn't establish its power. Now next topic, that is later on we can study